We are putting a bow on this winter season and giving you all the net results. Let's dive in and celebrate the Cardinals athletic programs. So take off your coat and join in all the fun as we jump around from sport to sport. Sports Night is next.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Sports Night. I'm Joe Young.
And I'm Howie Chaperon. We do put a bow on the winter season tonight.
Yeah, it's all over, and you talk about taking off your coat, looking forward to more days where we can leave the coat at home.
Yes.
And go enjoy some sunshine at the ballpark.
Looking forward to that.
The track and field. Or the lacrosse, tennis courts, all happening.
All of the above.
And those sports all already starting, and they're hoping for a warm-up as well, because it's a little chilly out still.
It is a little chilly, but at least the snow, just about all the snow is gone.
Oh, just about, and let's hope that's for good. Well, we got a lot to talk about. We'll start with the boys hockey team. They had an amazing year, posting the best record in almost 15 years, and it may be just the beginning. Cardinals will lose some really good leaders, but this sophomore group is very talented, so they will hopefully be getting stronger for the next couple of years. The Cardinals knocked off a bunch of benchmark moments this year. They posted 10 goals against Mora early on. 6 different guys scored in that game, all sophomores, including 2 who scored hat tricks. They had a 3-game win streak for the first time in 10 years, including their first win over Armstrong Cooper since the Wings' inaugural season of 2015. Their 10-16 record, best for a Cardinals club since 2008. Cardinals had 9 guys with double digits. That's the first time that's ever happened in school history. 5 guys had 20 or more, and senior Nathan Clark, just the second Cardinal in the last 10 years to hit 40 points. He had 42, finished his second in career points with 61. Cardinals had goals from 14 different players this season. 18 different guys had points, and most of that scoring will be returning. Clark was named All-Conference. Fellow senior captain Harry Koval and sophomores Tyler Barsness and Eli Bowden are all honorable mention. Cardinals lose 6 seniors, but they return so much talent, and the group coming in next season should even add to their depth a little further. So really looking forward to seeing what this team is able to do over the next couple of years.
Yeah, we talked about it all year, how that sophomore group has really played well, as you talk about the seniors who will be leaving the program.
Yeah, Mark Danik played all 4 years of high school, was part of the high school program, had to forego his final year of Bantams because we needed him as the third goaltender, and he played well down the stretch, became their #1 goalie in the playoffs. Dylan Pack will really miss Dilly on the blue line. Nathan Clark, we talked about, 42 points this year. He's been outstanding. His fellow captains, Kamani Poor and Harry Koval, also huge. And you talk about a team guy, you talk about Cody Novak. When they had all those goalie issues with injuries and illnesses, and they were down to 1 guy playing both games, they did that the one time. They had Will go out and play both games. After that, they still needed Will to play varsity. So Cody put on the pads, never played goalie before, and he jumped in net. And he's really a great kid, and have enjoyed watching him progress. He was the JV MVP this year. So, but yeah, very exciting. I've been excited about this sophomore group since they were Pee-wees, and they were the first group to play AA youth hockey, and it is definitely paying dividends at the high school level. It took this program up about 3 notches from last year to this year.
A lot of times we talk about programs who are losing leaders that they're losing, have them maybe a little rebuilding to do, but not such a case with the boys hockey squad.
No, there's the freshmen from this year will also add to it. They'll be fun to watch next year.
Well, the girls hockey team also had a season to remember, including their first ever section tournament win. That was one of the Bluebirds' main goals at the beginning of the year, and first-year head coach Todd Gutterman helped them make it happen. They were really fun to watch this year, but they'll lose a lot to graduation. The story of their season was a bit up and down, win streaks followed by losing streaks, but the longest streak was on the positive side. The Bluebirds won 9 of 10 games from late December to late January. It started with their championship run in the Poster Classic, and their only loss in that stretch was to undefeated champion Andover. The Bluebirds posted 14 wins, a co-op record that has happened 3 times in 5 seasons. But this time it includes a playoff victory. CPCR beat North Wright County 1-0 in the quarterfinals. This was their best offensive team since Champlain Park and Coon Rapids joined forces. They scored 3.15 goals per game. Their previous best was 2.68 in year one. Unfortunately, they also tied for the worst goals against in program history. The Bluebirds had 7 players in double digits, 5 of them over 20 points. Senior Molly Terabeza led the team with 39 points. Co-captain Kennedy Bolander was next with 26. They had 11 total seniors, including a lot of impact players, but they have some really talented players coming back. Sophomore, I'm gonna have to skip to my notes. Excuse me, we're having a little issue with our problem here. Here we go. I'm sorry. Junior defender Kylie Scott was third on the team in scoring with 22. Junior Brooke Johnson right behind with 23. And freshman Lily McKenzie burst onto the varsity scene with 7 goals and 7 assists. And really, Joe, and really a fine season for the Bluebirds. They were able to cap things off. Didn't get the final results they wanted, but a pretty good season nonetheless.
Yeah, they were a lot of fun to watch, but that's a lot of names for seniors, including their top offensive line with Ness Bolander and Terabeza. But you throw Maddie Shaw, Brooke Del Castillo,
Yep.
Emily Nicholas in there, Sam Boucher, Kate Ardendorfer, Gabriella Tuber, Brianna Qualley, Emma Strauss. Emma Strauss came along, had a breakout season. She had to be among the top vote getters for most improved. Terabeza and Bolander both finish all conference, which they should. And it'll be tough to replace that scoring. But they've got some nice leaders and some nice pieces from the younger levels. Kylie Scott is an outstanding young player.
Yes, absolutely.
She can control the game, the pace of the game from the blue line, but they're going to need to fill in some spots in front of her so that she's able to play it to them down in the corners.
Yeah, I mean, and it's just a matter of, again, in this squad, you are losing a lot of key contributors. So it'll be interesting how they replace those young athletes.
Well, and Maddie Wastrel, just a freshman,
Yep.
played half the games in net for him, and she is definitely ready for the varsity level, so that helps as well. Well, this was clearly a rebuilding year for the wrestling team, but they were still able to post a pretty impressive record. Cardinals lost all of their 6 state entrants from the year before, so they started the season looking for a new group of leaders. They had some really impressive young men step up and show the future of the program is in good hands. This may be the first time in the 25 years of CTN Sports that the wrestling team never made an appearance in the Dirty Dozen and didn't have a single athlete ranked in the top 10. Still, the Cardinals posted a respectable 18-12 record, which featured an amazing run in which they won 11 in a row and 13 out of 14 matches. Their schedule may have been a little softer than in years past, with fewer matches against perennial state powers, but they still saw a lot of quality competition in their non-conference schedule. It's exactly what this group needed to help gain the skills and the confidence to move the program forward. Cardinals only had 4 seniors, so there will be plenty of experience coming back. Sophomore captains Carter Skradsky and Kenny Wells proved impressive leaders, posting the best records for the Cardinals and leading the team with 18 and 13 pins respectively. 8th grader Jack Bridenstine locked down the 106-pound spot all season and took the title at the 9th grade state tournament. 120-pound freshman Jaden Lilly was runner-up at 9th grade state tournament, and fellow freshman Hayden Skilling scored 20 wins as the Cardinals heavyweight. Most nights, more than half their lineup was 12th or 10th grade or younger, so they'll be a much more experienced group next season, and the next few years, really, for that matter.
It's always nice when you have those younger athletes performing well, and excuse me, and in the wrestling situation, they almost had to, because they didn't have the numbers, they didn't have the experience that they've had in years past.
Well, and there you see it. Josh DuBois, missed most of his junior season with an injury. Had a couple of nagging injuries this year as well. Tim Horse, David Jeebley, a first-time wrestler, came out. So, and Octavian Podubny earned the title of FedEx because he always delivers.
Always delivered. I love it.
So they'll miss those guys.
Yeah.
But so much more coming back than what is leaving, and we'll see what happens too. Their their numbers were sort of down over the last couple of years,
Yep.
partly affected by COVID restrictions. So
Correct.
hopefully, as things continue to get more and more normal, those numbers will continue to go back up.
Yeah, hopefully down the road. That's in the past here soon. So. The Cardinals Gymnastics team won just by competing this season, when the easy route may have been to fold the program. They only had 6 or 7 girls sign up when registration opened, not enough for a full team. But instead of giving up, the Cardinals went out and recruited the athletes they needed to fill the roster. Cardinals more than doubled the number of girls in the gym by opening day, and many of the newcomers brought surprising skill sets. You could definitely say they were winners the first time they touched the match for varsity competition, but that was just the start of the journey. The team scores rose throughout the schedule for the Cardinals, and they posted a season best 116 in their final meet of the regular season. They weren't able to celebrate a win, but they were able within a point of Park Center. And in the low to mid 120s that some other teams were scoring is definitely within their reach in the near future. The Cardinals added 10 new girls at the beginning of the year, and that includes 5 middle schoolers. They only had 3 seniors and only 1 that was in the top 5 varsity every meet. So this was a learning and building year, and realistically a year that took the program from the verge of collapse to one with a hopeful outlook on the future. Yeah, this is definitely a program that it was impressive, the fact that they were able to recruit those other girls to be able to compete for this full season.
There you see Bethany Witzke, Arisa McQuarrie, and Savannah Luskin. Yeah, it was, talking to the girls and to Coach Habel at the beginning of the year. A couple of other programs saw the same thing and decided rather than they couldn't find the extra numbers, so they did actually have to close their programs down. And it's great to see that they not only went out and got 2 or 3 girls to make sure they had enough to compete, but they went out and they got 10. They got more than double. And a lot of those girls who had maybe done a little bit of tumbling when they were younger, but were in other sports, so they're athletic, able to find ways to contribute to the team. So, they've got some nice athletes and things on the rise there as well. Well, the swimming and diving team will lose an incredible leader, but his younger teammates have already shown the team is in good hands. Tyler Schultz capped off an amazing high school career with his 4th straight state tournament appearance. He was one of only 4 seniors on the roster, so it's easy to see they will return a lot of points next year. Cardinals were 3-4 in dual meets this season, including a pair of victories over Champlain Park, 2nd meet in the conference 9th place meet. They finished 12th in the Maroon and Gold Invite, 6th at True Team, and an impressive 4th place at section, which included beating Blaine, a little revenge for their dual meet loss to the Bengals earlier in the year. Tyler Schultz was section runner-up in the 200 IM and section champ in the 100 breaststroke, meaning he qualified for state in multiple events in each of his 4 high school seasons. His 3rd place finish in the breaststroke at state was the best of his career. Schultz was guaranteed points every meet, but the Cardinals had a number of others that were reliable scorers. Sophomores Nolan Schultz and Mitch Tronson and junior Nate Larson were also big contributors every night. Tronson just missed qualifying for state with a 3rd place finish in the 500 free at sections. And there were a lot of other contributors going down to the 9th grade and even middle school levels. And as a team, the Cardinals dropped tremendous amounts of time throughout the season, so they'll be well positioned to start next year.
Yeah, obviously losing Tyler Schultz is huge for this program, but they've, as well as you see those other young athletes up there. But this is a program that hopefully will continue to build the numbers, because I know Coach Donaldson has really been happy with the numbers that he had this year, and so going into next year, he hopes to get that as well. And it's a very special day for Coach Doug Donaldson. It's a birthday for him.
Happy birthday to Coach Donaldson. There are the athletes he's losing: Tyler Schultz, Sam Uribe, Nathaniel Hyatt, Stefan Hansen, and Diego Mendlick. But and especially that a couple of the guys that really showed huge strides this season from last year to this season are still only sophomores. Means a lot for the program. Not having a Schultz on either swimming and diving team at Coon Rapids is is a little sad, a little bittersweet.
It
we talked about last week, definitely a family that has left their mark on the programs.
No question. Well, the Nordic ski team sent a pair of Cardinals to the state meet, one from the boys team and one from the girls team. It was a great way to finish a solid season for these teams. Both squads had a nice surge in numbers to start the year, and they saw their times drop consistently throughout the schedule. Like most sports, one of the best things this season was to see everything back to normal. The Cardinals were able to compete in full races, including tournaments. And for the first time in several years, the team got to experience a full winter camp. They had a lot of new skiers, but they also had a lot of veterans, especially on the boys' side. That helped them be more consistently successful on the score sheet, grabbing 1 first place and 4 second place finishes in conference meets. While the boys' team had a group of senior and junior leaders posting the top time, the girls' story was different. Senior Lila Gilliard was their fastest in every race, and the others that contributed to team scores changed a lot, and featured girls from every level down to the 7th grade. Gilliard and junior Erin Casey both qualified for the state for the 2nd straight year, and both improved their finishes, grabbing 43rd and 32nd places respectively. Both teams will feel the sting of graduation in slightly different ways. The girls will lose their very best skier, while the boys will lose 3 of the top 5 guys that helped them take 3rd at sections, their best finish in years, and that really was a great finish for them.
And there you see it, Josh Thoen, Joey Dunn, Eli Christensen, and Ryan Powley. On the girls' side, Lila Gilliard, Akayla Lowe, Ava Kerr, Julia Dutton, and Katrina Hogarth. And yeah, Lila was very special. Definitely their fastest every week. But their section, she was the only one that was a senior. The other 4 girls in 8th, 9th, 10th, or 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th.
Yep.
Because there was 1 from each grade, and I don't think there was a junior. So a lot of youth, and that's exciting for Coach Denny Green. And his wife is very excited about what she has coming back. Coach Lauren Green, her team, the Alpine ski team, had 25 kids. You may remember last year or the year before, they didn't have enough boys out to actually post a team score all year. Now they got 25. More than half of them are first-year skiers. So, and only 3 seniors out of those 25. Zach Olsby, the only boy that's graduating. Mary Olson and Shelby Robidoux are the girls. Unfortunately for the girls, that's 2 of their top skiers. But, you know, with that much in numbers, great to see that program really thriving. And I talked to Denny a little bit about it at the beginning of the season. He said, yeah, it's kind of weird at our house, during the fall, because we're both kind of competing for the same athletes who are maybe undecided but have some potential on skis. And it's a personal battle. It'll continue.
It's a good one, though.
Well, the boys basketball team made it to the section championship game for a 2nd straight season this year, and most within the program consider it a bit of a disappointment. Just let that sink in for a second. While most Coon Rapids teams would be thrilled to make a section final, much less 2 in a row, these Cardinals have upped their game and their expectations to a whole other level. They were confident all season long that they could make it back to the title game again. They wanted to break the team's long state tournament drought. While that didn't happen, it's amazing to consider how far this program has come. Just 5 years ago, now JV coach Sam Carver hit a buzzer beater that gave the Cardinals their first playoff win in 7 years. Since then, they have won 5 of the last 6 quarterfinals. Last season, they upset Blaine and Andover at their home gyms to reach the finals. This year, they were the 2 seed and scored playoff wins over Anoka and Forest Lake in front of a packed Carlson Fieldhouse. Unfortunately, Andover did have their number all year, and the Cardinals came up short in the championship. Still, they had an amazing season. Cardinals finished with 19 wins, and they had a couple that slipped away from them, so they easily could have had 3 or 4 more. That's by far their best record going back to the early 2000s. Their aggressive defense and fast-paced offense made them one of the most dangerous Cardinal teams in recent memory, and they were a ton of fun to watch. They handled some adversity during the year, and they came out stronger at the other end. They had 5 guys averaging double digits all season, and they were all posting ridiculous defensive statistics as well. They put up a school record 114 points early in the season, and they had sweeps over conference rivals Blaine, Centennial, Anoka, and Champlain Park. So ultimately, they may be a little disappointed. But this team accomplished some great things this year, and unfortunately, they will lose a lot to graduation. Most of that starting five, Elijah Smith, Peyton Himley, Matthew Ellingson, McKeith Deng, and Alex Beck. Smith was all-conference, also all-state academic, all-state.
Phenomenal.
McKeith Deng, all honorable mention,
Yep.
as was Matthew Ellingson.
Yep.
And then the sophomore,
C-squared.
Kai John Cummings Coleman, also all-conference. And he had a phenomenal year. But, I'm going to say the name, MJ Galama was a big part of this program the last couple of years and for the first half of this season. Unfortunate departure late in the year. The guys regrouped and still played very, very well without him. But that is a great group, especially if you throw MJ into that list of seniors. That's a lot for them to recover from.
This was a fun team to watch all season long, and they're gonna miss that group of seniors who are leading, because obviously the leadership, the veteran leadership that they brought some of the younger guys, but just the scoring, the points that they're going to be losing, and
the length.
One thing we forget with
I think he finished at like 2.8 blocks per game. Matthew Ellingson had games of 5 and 6, multiple games with 5 or more blocks. That's ridiculous.
It's crazy. One thing we forgot last week is that we had Coach O on the
Section 7-4A Coach of the Year, Michael.
Yeah, and we didn't even bring it up. Shame. I'm surprised he's not camping out here, just calling our number out. But yeah, we wanted congratulations to Coach O, and Coach Schumann today, assistant coach,
named as an assistant coach of the year. Absolutely,
both those guys bring so much to this program, and congratulations. And Mike, we apologize for not bringing that up last. You're just going to have to win it again. You're going to have to win it again next year.
It's amazing
it is.
how far this program has come over the last 5 years.
Yep. Well, it's my turn. The girls' basketball team may have not had much success this season, but they did get to celebrate an amazing career. Obviously, the season is always about not about one player, but with struggles the Cardinals endured this year, it's nice to look on the bright side as much as possible. What Jenny Tomboy achieved this season is nothing short of amazing. She was the team's one returning varsity player, and even with every opponent focusing their attention on her defensively, she was still able to have a monumental year. Tomboy scored more than 40% of the Cardinals' points this season, finishing with an incredible 467 for the year. That's an average of 19.5 per game. She was able to score 1,000 points in her career, one of only a handful to do it in school history. Her teammates grew along the way, developing into decent complementary players, but unfortunately the Cardinals weren't able to score a single victory all season long. Jenny is one of 5 seniors that will be moving on. They did have some younger players get big minutes this year. Sophomore Chloe Christie and Casey Beck, for instance. Christie ran the point most of the season, and Beck finished in second on the team in scoring. And junior Alex Schmidt is another strong player in the post. But they'll have their work cut out for them when they get back to it next season, because this is a team that's going to have to replace one amazing player.
Yeah, you look at that senior class, the Washburn twins. They had a couple of minutes of varsity time before this year, and now forced to be starters and counted on for a majority of the 36 minutes every night. Carolyn Brownell, I actually really like the way that she played.
She played very well.
Morel White didn't see a lot of varsity time, but they did develop a lot of those younger players, and they also had some adversity. Coach Wico had to step down due to health reasons. We certainly wish hope his
seems to be doing
recovery.
well.
Yeah, I know he was on vacation last week, so good to see that. But so they had that shift, but for Tomboy to do what she did in the situation she was in makes it even more impressive. I mean, she got to 1,000 points. That includes last year when they had the reduced schedule because of COVID. And this year, where every team that they played, all 26 games that they played, the opponents went, we have to stop number 34. Not a single one of them, there was like 1 or 2 games where she was held below 10 points.
Yeah, not too many.
No one could stop her, even though they knew the offense ran through her. And she was just a great player. She was fun to watch from her freshman year all the way up. And to see her take on the leadership role and not get down on her teammates. She would go out there and score 23 points in a game that they lost 61-41, and she didn't get down on her teammates. Nope. that she wasn't getting the help she needed. She's going to be a monumental loss.
Well, yeah, and you look at the rebounding too. I mean, we didn't even talk about that. I mean, I'm sure she averaged more than 10 rebounds a game. It's got to be pretty close to that because she was just dominant on the boards. And and we saw her many times get second and third opportunities off her own shot because of the fact that she was so dominant underneath.
Well, we hope that all of the programs bounce back and have even better years next year. For some of the teams, obviously that bar set a little bit higher. The boys basketball team still trying to break that state tournament drought going back to 1983. Next year will be 40 years. Maybe that's when it is to happen.
Let's hope so.
With that, we will close the book on the winter season at Coon Rapids High School and look forward to the spring, and that is going to do it for this edition of Sportsnight. We want to thank everybody out there for joining us and continuing to support everything we do here at CTN. For the entire crew, including the incomparable Howie Shapiro, I'm Joe Young, saying good night.